14 seconds was the difference between Adrien Silva being a Leicester player and not being a Leicester player, and unfortunately the Portuguese midfielder won't be able to play until January after an appeal from the Foxes was rejected by FIFA, meaning they won't be able to call upon their Danny Drinkwater replacement until 2018. So with FIFA blocking Leicester's move for Silva, albeit temporarily, let's look at 5 other transfers that FIFA blocked. First up, it's Hatem Ben Arfa. Lauded by the Newcastle fans, Hatem Ben Arfa seemed to be loved by everyone on Tyneside, except for the club's management, which resulted in him being sent on loan to Hull City in September 2014, a move that didn't prove to be fruitful for the Frenchman, with the deal being cut short by the Tigers. On his return to Newcastle, Ben Arfa was released from his contract and joined Nice in January 2015. Excited to get back to playing football, Ben Arfa was informed by FIFA that he would be unable to play for Nice until next season, having already played for the maximum 2 clubs in one season, with FIFA counting an appearance for the Newcastle reserves as a club. Dejected and distraught, Ben Arfa considered retirement from the game, but re-signed for Nice in the summer, lighting up Ligue 1, much to the envy of Newcastle fans. Next up, we've got Daniel Cousin. Gabon striker Daniel Cousin was hit with a similar problem to Hatem Ben Arfa in January 2008. Fulham activated a £3 million release clause in the Rangers player's contract, having already had a £2 million bid rejected for the forward, who was seemingly desperate to play in the Premier League and head to Craven Cottage. Cousin had joined Rangers at the start of the season, but the problem was he'd played 20 minutes for previous side RC Lens before his move to Ibrox, meaning he'd played for 2 clubs in one season. Despite it only being a 20-minute cameo, FIFA refused to budge on their stance, and the rest of Cousin's time in Scotland was littered with controversy. His final appearance for the club was a 4-2 victory over Celtic, in which he scored and was sent off, then getting his Premier League move to Hull City. Next up, it's Vadis Ojidja-Afoe. A highly rated Belgian youngster, it looked like Everton had pulled up a real coup in 2012 by agreeing a deal to bring in the 23-year-old to Goodison Park on loan, and he was heavily endorsed by fellow Belgian Vincent Kompany, who tweeted, "Everton fans might not know it, but their club has done an incredible bit of business. Vadis Ojidja is a top player, mark my words." Well, the Toffees never found out as FIFA refused to sanction the deal despite support from the FA and Premier League, with Everton failing to get the paperwork completed before the transfer deadline. The deal was never resurrected and the Belgian instead moved to Norwich in 2014. Much to the delight of Everton fans, Ojidja-Afoe made little to no impact at Carrow Road and is now playing for Olympiacos. Next up, it's Kevin Grosskreutz. A 2-time Bundesliga winner with Borussia Dortmund, Kevin Grosskreutz was on the move in the summer of 2015, with Turkish club Galatasaray interested in signing the German. A deal was agreed only for FIFA to block the move, with Gala failing to submit the relevant documents before the transfer window closed, meaning the German was not eligible to play for the club until January. Grosskreutz signed a 3-year deal anyway and headed to Turkey, but would never make an appearance for the club, joining Stuttgart in January 2016, 5 days after he'd become eligible to play for Galatasaray. What a waste of time that was. And finally, it's Didier Drogba. The final act of the Ivorian's first spell at Chelsea was sinking the winning penalty in the Champions League final for the Blues, leaving a legend as he headed off to the Chinese Super League with Shanghai Shenhua. During the close season in China, Drogba wanted to keep himself fit ahead of the African Cup of Nations and seeked a loan move back to Chelsea in November 2012, despite the transfer window not being open. Chelsea held talks with the forward, but FIFA blocked the move, refusing to make an exception to the rule, stating that players may only be registered during one of the 2 annual registration periods fixed by the relevant association. With Drogba seemingly not above the law, he returned to Chelsea in 2014 when it was actually allowed, winning another Premier League under Jose Mourinho. So those are 5 transfers that FIFA blocked. Let us know of any more in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe.